Is he the best Premier League acquisition in the last, say, 2 years for you, Gabby? 2-3 seasons?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, before Fernandes come, it was Kevin De Bruyne for me, the way he got assists, got goals. But Fernandes has took over this season. He's overtook Kevin De Bruyne this season, the way he's playing. What I love about him is that he's always looking forward. As a striker making runs, you can make any run you like because he's going to find you. He's going to try and find you. He's not looking to play sideways. He's looking to put that killer ball in for you. And he can score goals. And he's a leader. He's not just that flair player who doesn't get involved with shouting at other players. If you watch him closely, he's screaming at other teammates who aren't pulling it in or who aren't tracking. So I think he's been a great signing for Manchester United, and I'm sure he'll go on to be a great player for them.
Do you think he's outperforming Kevin De Bruyne now? Outshining him? Yeah,
100%. I think Kevin De Bruyne is an unbelievable player, but this season, on form, Fernandes has overtook him, and he's quite a while ahead of him because Fernandes, every game, you're guaranteed something now. If he's not an assist, it's a goal, and you're coming to expect it from him. And today, he probably could have had 2 or 3 goals with the one off the bar and a couple of more attempts. So definitely he's overtook De Bruyne for now, but I'm sure when Kevin De Bruyne gets up and going, he'll be back in contention.
What do you reckon then, Lee? Because United are now top of the table, albeit joint with Liverpool. Is he the best performing player in the division now?
I think he probably is on stats. I think he's also surrounded by some really good players, which helps. I think to see Pogba coming back in, like Ollie said there, he's getting stronger and fitter and starting to look the player that we're all expecting to be. Martial at times can frustrate and do your head in a little bit, but other times knocks in something brilliant and does something sensational. You got Rashford who's been on fire and scoring goals. So I think the team are actually growing in confidence, and I think that's through what Bruno Fernandes is doing. I think he's helped in training. I think he helps in games, and I think when you've got a player in your team when things are tight, we had it years back with Cantona. When you know someone in the team that can create something out of nothing and nick you a goal in tight games, I think it does give you that extra boost of confidence, and I think you can see that's in the team now through his performances.
Yeah, those run of 1-0 victory, Schmeichel with the clean sheet, and Eric Cantona with the winning goal to get all 3 points. Final thing on Bruno Fernandes, though, and I found this quite interesting. Paul Scholes, considered one of England's greatest ever players, but underutilised by the national side, one of Manchester United's greatest ever players, has said Bruno Fernandes is a better player than he was. Now, you would know firsthand, at least from Scholes' perspective on this, Lee. What do you make of that?
I think Scholes has been very humble, but I would have to say that I'm not sure Bruno Fernandes is quite a Paul Scholes. I think the goals that Scholes scored early on in his career, arriving late in the box, later on in his career from the edge of the box, and the way he dictated games and went from a sort of late runner into the box to a more holding midfielder, dictating the pace of play and spraying passes around anything from 5 yards to 50 yards. I'm not. Maybe Bruno will get up there, but for me, Scholes was probably a little bit of a better player.
I think as well, Lee, when you like a player, because Fernandes has come in with a great attitude, great player, I reckon ex-Man United players really like him, so they will say things like that. I think deep down, Scholes will know that Fernandes isn't on his level yet. But when you really like a player, you do it, don't you, Lee? You'll say that they're better than you because you want to give them that confidence. But anyone that played with Paul Scholes or played against him would not put them in the same bracket at the moment. No chance.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I think that's what big people, big characters, and big players do. They make sure that people around them feel confident. They're quite happy to give up their accolades for other people to play better, feel better. And it's lovely for Scholesy to say. But yeah, I'd have to say Scholesy was an outrageous player.
Well, what made him so outrageous? Because, and this is not me stoking the fire, his words were, Bruno Fernandes scores more goals than me, he gets more assists than me, amongst some of the other praises he was singing.
Well, Bruno Fernandes plays a bit further forward, and he's on penalties, so he will possibly create a few more and score a few more. But I think, Bruno Fernandes couldn't dictate a football match like Paul Scholes could. He's not got. He's a good passer, but I don't think he's in the same league as Scholes was. I think Scholes' awareness in the middle of the pitch, I don't think anybody could get near him. I don't think he was probably as quick as many players he played against, yet no one could get within 5 yards of him and no one could get the ball off him. So I think there are similarities, but they're slightly different players, and I can see why Bruno Fernandes is scoring more and possibly creating more. But I don't think he dictates a game quite like Scholes did.
Well, you used the word outrageous to describe Paul Scholes. I want to know, firstly from Gabby, what's the most outrageous thing that you ever saw Paul Scholes do in that case?
Well, I was lucky enough to play in a game. Well, not lucky because it was my second season. And every time you see the goal at Villa Park, you can see me behind the goal. So I was told to stay up for corners against. So I'm stood around the centre circle. And it was a corner pinged onto the edge of the box. Paul Scholes, first time, volley into the top corner, barring in. I think you probably remember the goal. It might have been 2007 or 2006. It was a great goal at Villa Park. I just remember from that day on, every time we played against him, like Lee says, I didn't see anyone tackle him. You go to press him, he's popped it off one touch. You give him time, he takes a touch and pings a diag, where it's just perfect for the winger running in or fullback. One of the best players I ever played against, for sure.
Lee, you'd have seen Paul Scholes up close and personal, particularly when he was a young, developing player. What's the most outrageous thing you saw him do?
Well, I mean, the goal again, I remember the goal against Villa, and funnily enough, I played for Bradford in a game against Man United, and he did exactly the same. I think David Beckham pinged a corner in to 3 or 4 yards outside the box, and first time Scholes, he lashed it, and it hit the underside of the bar and rocked it into the back of the net. And in training, it was a regular occurrence. He did it all the time. He struck a ball so pure, it was incredible. And he just read the game so well. He was just a pure footballer.
I think as well, look, you don't realise how hard that technique is. Like, I used to try it in training and sometimes miss the ball. When a corner gets played in, to hit the ball perfectly, to get it on target, it's such a tough technique that only the top players can do. So for him to score so many goals like that just shows how talented he was.
If you ever want to feel better about your skills, Gabby, just watch me play.